One of the most highly contagious diseases on the planet pops up in the United States with confirmed cases, and it's something to be concerned about. I'll give you the details of that here in this video. As well as, in addition to this, World Health leaders warn of a pandemic 20 times worse than COVID, known as Disease X, refers to a hypothetical unknown pathogen. Such a virus already could be circulating in animals, but not yet known in humans. Scientists say without preparation, the next pandemic could be worse than COVID. World health leaders are already warning about this. Disease X. Now, remember here that China just released to the world here just a few days ago. You can see the headline here from the New York Post. Chinese lab crafts mutant COVID-19 strain with 100% kill rate in, quote, humanized mice. Surprisingly rapid death rate. And China actually released this study and released this data to the world. To the world here, guys. And this is shocking and surprising because this shows a couple things: that China is still tampering with viruses, deadly viruses, and it also shows that China kind of admits that they were tampering with viruses in the first place. Yeah, didn't they? This is unbelievable, right?
What are they doing this for? Are they trying to kill us all again? They didn't learn the last time. Killing millions upon millions of people the last time wasn't good enough.
I know.
Ruined with deadly viruses.
And these things aren't controllable. Obviously, this ran through their country and their people. It's not like they can control this thing that could just harm Americans. This stuff isn't controllable.
They didn't figure it out the last time. Oops. Our bad.
I know it's like they're releasing this to the world to try to scare people, but don't they realize that that they can't weaponize this and only send it to Americans to try to get us as a weapon? This stuff isn't controllable. It's contagious. It goes and it spreads across the world. It's a deadly virus.
Let's play with some more viruses for fun. Oops.
Yeah. And it's just like this, and of course they don't want to admit that the first COVID came out of their lab or leaked out of their lab. I know that we know this, but they won't admit it. They won't give us the data. They won't tell us anything, right? Whether it came out of their lab or it came out of their Wuhan market.
Does that sound like any other country that we know that doesn't like to admit when they screw up?
Yeah, right. And the problem here is that they're doing it again. They're doing it again, and it's like, oh, are we going to have another pandemic here in 2024, 2025? They're purposely messing around with these viruses that shouldn't be messed with. It's like they're playing God with these deadly viruses that are even what seems like deadlier than before.
At the cost of their citizens, no less.
At the cost of the whole world.
Well, yeah, but their citizens are the frontline people who get it first.
Yeah,
they don't care. The people who are messing around with the viruses don't care about their own citizens either.
And they got 1.4 billion people. That's like 4 or 5 times more the population than the United States.
Don't they care about the concern of their own citizens?
And the whole world.
No. Who cares?
You know, there's like 8 billion people in the world. And they're releasing this like, oh, hey, look what we did. Like it's a good thing. Yeah. You know, and that kind of leads here to the next story. Take a look at this. Take a look here. Why are measles cases popping up across the United States? Here's what to know about the highly contagious virus. And if you don't know how contagious measles is, take a look here. By the way, the Omicron version of COVID was the second most contagious virus ever. It was approaching the contagiousness of the virus that we think was the most contagious ever studied, namely the measles. The measles virus was long considered the gold standard for contagiousness. The measles virus has a reproductive number of R0 that varies between 3.7 to 203.3, meaning that one infected person is approximately to affect between 3.7 and 203 people. My guess is, depending on how many people they come in contact with, and maybe they don't know they have it, or until they know they have it, depending on if they go to work, or how many people they come in contact with, whether they're a homebody, work at home or not. But this shows you how contagious measles is. They can spread it on average between 3 to 4 people and 200 people. In the 16th century, this is how old measles is, 2/3 of indigenous population of Cuba was killed by the disease measles. 2/3 of the population of Cuba. Other scientists concurred with Schaefer's conclusion that it is approaching the contagiousness of measles, speaking of the Omicron variant of COVID. And now, after many years, nearly a dozen cases of measles have now been reported in Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Georgia in recent weeks, according to local health departments. International travel, coupled with declining global vaccination rates, is probably behind the spate of cases, experts say. The Philadelphia Department of Public Health has confirmed at least 9 cases of measles over the past month alone after a single person contracted the highly contagious virus outside the United States and exposed a parent and a child at a children's hospital, according to the health department spokesperson James Garrow. That exposure then led to a Philadelphia daycare outbreak that included at least 5 children so far. Additionally, a case of measles has been confirmed in an unvaccinated resident of the metro Atlanta area, Georgia Department official announced. The individual was exposed to measles while traveling outside of the country. The problem is when one person gets it, we know how many can get exposed to it quickly as well. It's not only the United States. In the United Kingdom, a measles outbreak continues to widen. There have been 216 confirmed cases and 113 probable cases reported since October, because one person gets it and it can quickly spread to a lot of others. And this is exactly what happened with COVID and then the variants of it, Omicron. And this is what the virus does. The virus mutates because the virus is constantly trying to survive, as my wife says, and mutate itself so that it can survive. And what happens is that the virus mutates and actually comes up with, what do they call it? They call it uh, variant resistant, drug resistant, antibiotic resistant. It eventually comes up with antibiotic resistant mutations because the viruses are trying to survive. And eventually, sometimes it comes up with that type of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's an organism trying to survive, just crazily enough. And that's what happened is the Omicron version actually became almost as, depending on their studies and stuff, almost as contagious as measles, which is it's crazy how contagious this stuff can get. It's wild. It's wild. And that's what they think, is that as it becomes more contagious, not as deadly, but that doesn't mean people don't die from it. Especially the immunocompromised, elderly, young children. Some in general, that's what they say. Some not as deadly, but that doesn't mean that some people don't die from it. Just like some people die from the common cold or the flu, still deadly. So you guys can let me know your thoughts on this. I'll keep you up to date. It's crazy, and the problem is that the next pandemic could literally be being tinkered from China. They have admitted to tinkering with this stuff, and they announce it to the world like, hey, look at what we're doing. Like, they're proud of it. And the problem is like we can't do anything to them because it's like, what are we gonna do? They got 1.4 billion people. They got nuclear weapons. We can't just like go attack them. Like they can't. They won't admit to the last one, but they'll admit to this one, and it's just like it's wild. Yeah. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here on a daily basis. Thank you for liking and share this video with everybody that needs to hear this information. Make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new videos. Click the bell icon so you get notifications. Click here to see if you could get $2,000 from Congress, or click here to see a major decision coming from the Fed this week. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.